Welcome to PowerFu, Episode 1, The Way of Power BI. In this series of web sessions, we're going to guide you to PowerFu mastery. But what is PowerFu? PowerFu is skill in using Power Platform from Microsoft, especially Power BI, to quickly build and distribute useful reports, applications, and workflows in the enterprise. So what are the pieces and the parts of this? Well, first, we're going to introduce you to Power BI. Power BI is a platform enabling you to develop reports, dashboards, transform data. In general, it's used to communicate what's happening. And then we have PowerApps. PowerApps enable us to collect across multiple different devices information that may be relevant to a particular job or a particular use case. We're able to create these business applications with low to no software development expertise or time spent in that area, actually. And then we have Power Automate. Power Automate enables us to build workflows or automate business processes. And finally, we have Power Virtual Agents. Power Virtual Agents enables us to actually create bots or virtual agents that enable us to provide ways for people to interact and get information through queries, through a series of question and answer activities, things like that. Okay, let's dive into Power BI. So where do we get started? Well, we're going to focus on identifying using different sources of data, making changes and transformations to the data, and building simple tables and charts to communicate between you, your management, your leadership, and your peers. Over our time together, you will learn what a good report looks like, basic techniques that we use every day to highlight and focus attention on the most important things, and we'll start building your PowerFu foundation so that you can start mastering this powerful tool. Think of this as being a little like mastering Kung Fu. You start by building the foundation, and then you continue to grow your skill until one day you get your own TV show with Chuck Norris. Okay, maybe not, but you get the basic idea. After we have developed a foundation using Power BI on the desktop, we'll begin to move into the options available to you to share your reports, explore the use of Power BI Online Service as a tool for extending your report capabilities with streaming data, automated report updating, dashboard design, and report pack development. Pretty exciting, no? Okay, what else? Well, we talked for a brief second about PowerApps. PowerApps is the platform, like I said, to build low-code or no-code applications. This enables you and your peers, whether you're working with IT or working on your own, to be able to solve automation or business process things that you are used to having to, ask IT for a 6-month project to build out a new function. This lets you actually get, hit the ground running, build your own solutions to the business cases and use cases that you come across, and really to be able to deliver that out to your peers and to take advantage of it yourself with as little time or effort as possible. Okay, then that leads us into Power Automate. Power Automate is this whole interesting platform that allows us to connect together streams of data moving back and forth from different systems. Say we want to create a Word document, upload it to OneDrive, then have that information in OneDrive flow into a form in Microsoft Forms, and then have that information go over to SharePoint, possibly reaching someplace in a CRM database. All of that becomes possible through Power Automate. And then, as we mentioned before, there's this interesting opportunity to create these whole decision tree-based virtual agents or bots. These bots then can respond to specific requests for information, and you can start collecting that information in order to be able to figure out what else people might need. Okay, so what's next? Well, we're going to do briefly here an introduction to Power BI. We're just going to talk about, what the user interface looks like and give you some sense as to what you might be able to do with it. And then we're going to move along to some other topics like heat maps and tables, charts, and whatever else is going to come next as we get into episode 2 and beyond. Okay, here's a brief introduction. Here is your Power BI desktop home screen. As we look at the top, we see a ribbon. You may be used to this from using other Microsoft Office tools. This ribbon is where all of your menu items are, where you can find help, if you want to change the views that you see, things like that. That's all available to you in the ribbon. And then over to the left-hand side, we have the left-hand navigation. The left-hand navigation is going to allow us to identify whether we want to see the reports, whether we want to see the tables that are behind the reports, or whether we want to see the relationships between the different tables. And we'll explain all of this in great detail once we get into the meat of this set of webinars. What about on the right side? Well, on the right side, we have the list of any fields, visualizations, stuff that is going to allow you to lay out the information that you want to see in your report. Just getting into a little bit of the additional information below the visualizations, we also see that there are places where we can look at the values, but besides being able to see what we're putting into a specific visualization, there's a little painter tool. The painter tool is there to allow you to change how things look. And if you explode that out, you'll see that you can change the titles, you can change the size of the text, the size of the content in your visualizations or reports. You can change the colors of the background. All that's going to be in the painter tool. And then finally we have the main canvas. So the central section of Power BI Desktop is the canvas where we lay out all of the elements of our report. Okay, so next we are going to talk for a brief second about quick tables and heat maps. As you can see here, we have a piece of information coming from our one of our project management tools. So we've got a bunch of projects here, and as you can see, we can actually totally lay out and color exactly how it is that our consumer is going to see our report. So I've laid in a title bar at the top. In the table headings, we have changed the color to black to focus people on just the main content of the table. And we've also included in this table some sense of heat mapping or relative importance to draw the eye and draw the attention of the person consuming the report. So as we can see here, the hero campaign is actually really substantial. Its estimated cost is quite significant, and as a result it stands out from all of the other projects in our portfolio here. Okay, so if you look over on the right hand side, you can see the one is marking exactly which of the visualizations we're referencing. The visualization we're referencing is a regular table. You can see now this list of fields that we were looking at previously is actually more complete. We see the different sets of fields, and as you notice, there's the capability of doing type ahead. So I typed in finish here, and that highlighted the different possible fields that had finish included in them, which in this case happened to be largely dates. As far as all this coloring and everything we did here, that's coming up underneath the paint, the layout and painting tool. So that tool is what allowed us to put the background of our filters to black, to change the color of the text in the filter panel to gold, and then similarly to set the colors and shadings of the different pieces of the table as well. You'll also notice that in our filter area, we've put a specific filter into place. So we've set that we want to see just the projects where the current estimated cost is greater than 0. So things where we've actually done some planning and we've shared that information with the system so that we could look at it in this report. And as you see, we've applied a specific visualization to the estimated cost column. So we've provided a way for it to distinguish on a scale whether something is higher in estimated cost or lower in estimated cost, and to draw the eye's attention to that. Okay, so what's next? Well, we're going to take a look at a simple chart. We want to kind of get your attention here and show what the possibilities might look like. So in our chart, we have created a visualization that gives you some sense over time when different projects that are taking place in our portfolio are going to get completed. So we see that there's some leadership projects that are coming into May and into June. There's some other projects coming in earlier in the quarter. Right now, as you see at the top, we've also set up some drop-down filters. So those are coming out of our out of our visualizations also. We can create all these different individual slicers. These slicers then can be referencing different pieces of data in our database. Based on the selections we make, then it will actually modify what's on the screen. So we can see that in this case, we've selected Q2, we've selected 2020 as the year. We're including all projects and all other information, but you get the basic idea. All of this stuff then becomes immediately impactful on how much information we're seeing out of all the data that's available to us. So we did that by applying, as you see, the 2 is just slightly off to the upper right from the slicer. Again, we can see which of the fields are being applied into this particular chart. And that we've applied certain value controls, like we want to keep all the filters available. But where do we go from here? Okay, well, the magic to come is that we're building towards something. What we're going to do is we're going to create a really interesting report that shows work progress across all systems. What do I mean by all systems? Well, we've spent a long time at Green Data speaking to different enterprise companies like yourself, and what we found over and over is that understanding where resources are doing their work is fairly difficult. We have to look in multiple different systems in order to figure out what's going on. So here we're actually aggregating information from Project on the Web, from ServiceNow, and from Jira. And so each of these systems allows us to see project management information, tickets that are being processed, and individual component tasks of larger software development projects that are taking place. So we're pulling all that data together and we're rationalizing it in order to get a better feel for where time is being spent by our different resources. So that's what we're going to build towards. And you can see as we're highlighting some of the different areas that we're concentrating on, like bookable resources, during which time frame this actual report's supposed to be accounting for, where we're getting our components. Like in this case, we got our chart over here from the upper right. It's a stacked bar chart. And we've painted it all up in order to give it a consistent look and feel. And also, again, our big goal here is to get people paying attention to the things that they need to be aware of in this report, not wasting their time trying to dig at every single piece of the data. If they want to, they can, but the point is to bring the attention forward to the information that's most important for people to understand in the report. Okay, well, so what's next in terms of this webinar series? Well, episode 2, we're going to break down work. Then we're going to move in episode 3 to reporting out from ServiceNow. We'll go into episode 4 where we're reporting out from Jira. Moving into episode 5, we'll report for just from Project for the Web. And then you'll see all this come together, including also content from Project Online. So 2 of these from Microsoft, Project for the Web and Project Online, and then a couple of others from ServiceNow and from Atlassian, so we can start to move towards having a comprehensive view of work for our organization. All right, well, I want to thank you. My name is John Michael Scott. I'm the CEO of Green Data. Green Data is a silver Microsoft partner, and hopefully you've learned a little bit about where we're headed with this series. PowerFu, we're going to be, helping you to build out the modern business application. We're going to guide you towards mastery of these different interesting platforms. Feel free to see more episodes by visiting greendata.io. And also, if you have a special request, please contact us at hello@greendata.io. Thank you very much.